down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, Savvy investors, we're talking about sharpening your skills in negotiations, and I got a celebrity back in the studio. Welcome back, Mystery Man. Say hello.
Hello. Glad to be back.
You know, it's so funny that a lot of people were like, who's the Mystery Man? And I got a message not too long ago. Whatever happened to the Mystery Man? He got the deal and he disappeared. Well, let me tell you, let me clue you in. The Mystery Man is back in. He's been working hard. He's been grinding it down. He has been mailing out postcards, bandit signs, just trying to dominate, brand new to Oklahoma City, just crushing it. And so we have been, I've been helping you, I guess, mentoring you / coaching you for the last, how long we've been around?
Several months.
Couple months. I don't know the timetable. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to discuss a deal that I had little faith in. And I realized when I was writing up this podcast, I was like, man, I've got to sharpen my skills in negotiations. And I'm really super proud of Mystery Man, where he locked up a deal that I would have walked away from. So let's just run it past. So I'm going to give my quick short story, and I know you can fill in all the details and I'll drag it out of you. But number one, Mystery Man got a house under contract. Well, first of all, it's a high-end home, valued. It's like 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Something like that. It's just, it's a massive property. It's worth $385,000. So when he brought me this deal, I was like, I don't know what to do. Let me make a few phone calls because this is way out of my zip code. And first of all, I was like, man, we should do subject to. We should, can we wholesale this? Who would buy this? It's definitely in a very desirable neighborhood, but the numbers were off, and so he chatted with this gal on the phone, and I looked at the numbers. I crunched the numbers. I called Thomas Morgan. I was like, bro, how do you do a high-end wholesale? How does this work? Because the margins seem real skinny. Plus, you got to come to closing. And I was pretty excited that we got the number down in our mind in the office of $310,000. And so, man, I was like, oh, wow, $385,000. First of all, we had to do extensive research on getting proper comps because, $10,000 is a big swing. I know $375,000. The house is actually valued at $385,000. On the county assessor, what was it listed at? $345,000.
Yes.
But I didn't just entrust one realtor or one broker or even to my own intentions. Because this is one of my students, I was like, dude, Mystery Man, we got to figure this out. And so I called 2 realtors and I got 2 solid comps back that no, this house is worth $385,000. So I just kicked Mystery Man to the curb, go back out there and negotiate this chick and come back and talk to me. So I blew Mystery Man off, disappeared for a couple of weeks. See you later. He comes back. Hey, I got her down to, what was the very first price you got her down to? No,
she started off at $375, and then I got her down to $325. And you said, laughed in my face, kind of, "Are you kidding me? Get out of here! You can do better than that. We can't work with that."
No.
Dragged my head, walked out of here moping, dragging my feet. I thought I'd done good. Dropped it $50,000.
Nope. And because then when you came back at that number, I was serious and I did some more research, but there was a house that was listed right around the corner on the same neighborhood. So we had super hard comps, super hard, comparables, and that house didn't sell. So I was scared for you. You lock this up at $310, $320. Yeah, there's $60,000 worth of potential profitability, but who you're gonna sell this house to as wholesale? People want it at 70%. So I kicked you to the curb. I sent you back out there. Then what happened?
So I went back out there and came back. I went and talked to her. It's like, she's never going to take this. This is all she was going to do. She wasn't going to do anything more than this. So I came back with a big grin on my face. She'll never believe what she said. What? 300. 310. Are you kidding me? That's kind of where I was at. I was expecting lower than that to begin with when you went out of here.
I know. So again, I was like, okay, well, there's nothing. And at this point in time, I was like, look, I'm proud of you. Now, keep in mind, Mr. Man, he's new to the game. He is just on blind faith. When I say do this, he's going out and doing this. He's getting back into his truck, actually driving all the way, at least 15, 20 minutes to meet with this older gal. Now, here's some things that you need to know about this older gal. She is a landlord.
Yes.
So
years.
For years, and she's pretty wealthy. I mean, I don't think you call a bandit sign or pick up a yellow card in the mail and want to sell your $385,000 house without some sort of a rigmarole. And why? And the question you should be asking, listener, why doesn't she hire a realtor? So, Mystery Man, was that a question that came up in your negotiations? Like, hey, save 6% using me? Tell me about that.
That is exactly what I asked her, and she didn't want to have people traipsing through the house. She had a lot of very expensive things in her house that she was going to be sending to New York to sell at auction. She didn't want to lose the 6% because she wanted the $375 for the house. So she wanted to get as much as she could. And she wanted to pass as much as she could to her kids because she's got a lot of kids that she had filling that big old house.
And her motivation is that she was going to an assisted living home or like a semi-retirement home is where she was rolling to.
Yes.
So she had somewhat motivation, but she wasn't broke. If you can sell your stuff at Barney's auction or wherever the freak her stuff that she was shipping off to can tell you what her net worth was. Money was not this gal's option. So not only that money was not her option, like she wasn't desperate, she could make 2 payments, but you had to lower her down from 310. So at this point in time, I was like, bro, I honestly, this is out of my zip code. It would be a great, I was like, Mr. Man, you should live. I was like, you should live at this house. I was like, you need to move in, do a subject to, be creative. I mean, I'm like throwing out every secret weapon I have in the back of my backpack. And it wasn't working. So I was like, listen, man, just to be honest with you, there's nothing. I mean, you'd be great if you can get it for $275. It would be great if you can knock it down some. And then we have a lot more motivation to, sell this thing. So then what happened?
So I went back again for the fourth time, because I got over there originally to talk to her the first time. And sat down with her and presented a 3-point offer to her. And whenever I even started to talk, the first, if you're going to say anything to me about at least, Carrie, if I'm not financing this is no, I'm not going to live long enough to do that. This is why I love being a coach, because I was like, yeah, go give her a dual offer, an owner finance, the cash offer, and a financed offer, right? Correct.
Something to that effect.
Yes.
I forgot about this. So you got blasted. So you're in the middle of this lady's wealthy home, and you're trying to slide in 3 offers. Hey, by the way, just assign the property over to me. And she slapped you.
Yes. So I said, well, that's a good thing, since I hadn't said that yet. I said, well, that's a good thing that's not one of the options I was going to offer to you. So I went right into the second option.
You got balls, man. I mean, I see, again, folks, the reason why we even have this on the radio is because I've already was checked out at the $300,000 mark. I mean, even though when you look at it, $300,000, $385,000, wow, $85,000 of, but even if I made $5,000 on this deal, I learned from my wholesaling coach, Thomas, lock it up. Even if you make $500,000, lock it up. I'm like, okay, I'll lock it up. But who's going to buy a $300,000 house?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't buy $300,000 houses just to roll in. All right. So then what? So she blasted you on your dual offer, which is someone's coaching you very well to be creative on the front end so you can backpedal. So you backpedaled a little bit, then what?
I did. So then I left her with the final offer with the $275 that we discussed, that you directed me back over to get her down to the $275. And you're trying to steal my house from me. Well, no, I'm really not trying to steal your house from you. I'm trying to give you a fair price for your house. And
I remember, let me interject there. I remember that did you show her the other house around the corner, why it wasn't selling? This house needed upgrading. What was your sales point? What were you hammering her? How in the world are you getting it? And guys, we're not even at the final price here.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, so how'd you get her down to even think about? I know you did the walkaway close, so we'll talk about there in a minute. But
yeah,
so how'd you respond to her when you said, "You're stealing my house"?
I said, I'm not trying to steal your house. I'm trying to give you a reasonable offer here. I'm presenting multiple offers for you to choose from. This is your choice. You have the right to make the decision that's right for you to move on with your life and make the right choice to sell your home at the price that you want based on what I've presented to you.
So you're kind of smooth. You're an older guy. I mean, not an older guy, but you presented yourself slow and you mirrored her. You did the whole personality profiling. And so she felt trustful for you. But how did you get it lowered? So I left those two. Let me think about this. And I'm surrounded by her daughter, her grandson, her granddaughter, and another daughter or something. There's like a whole table, and it's like a king's table because we're at this house. And there's this huge chandelier, and it's lonely me at this table, surrounded by all these people. So I will leave this with you as she suggested that I did. So you had this kind of printed up on your nice letterhead. I think you had linen paper.
I did have
so a little tidbit there. I saw the offer. You had it on linen paper. You physically brought the offer. You wholesalers, you rookies out there, always present an offer in writing. You will be one step ahead of all the other jokers that don't listen to the Savvy Radio Show. This is just a little tidbit there. So you presented the offer. You left it on the table, and your tail was in between your legs on the way out because you just felt like you got murdered.
That's correct.
Because I remember you coming in the next day saying, "Why do I believe in the savvy landlord? Like, why am I coming back to this office?" I'm like, "Go back out there, go get it done."
That's right.
So, all right. So you put on paper $275.
Correct.
Okay, but that's not the final.
That's not the final.
Okay.
So she called back on Monday, and I went back over there, and now she has a 3-point offer for me.
She countered.
She did counter.
This is where her landlord genes have just kicked in. I can't wait to be 80-something when someone's trying to negotiate with me because I'm going to be gangster.
And I have 3 offers presented to me now with her attorney stamp signature on it.
Wow, that's right. I forget all these details. Every time you talk to her, she had to call her attorney. This is what wealthy people do. I got to call my attorney.
So there are these 3 offers, and we were offering $275, and she was offering, like $285 or $280 or something. It was, off by $5,000 or something more. And I told her, I can't accept that. That's a little more than I can actually accept at this point in time. So I will actually regretfully have to decline at this point in time. And the look on her face was just like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, I thought we had a done deal, basically. We've spent all this time together.
That's what she thought?
Yeah, that's what she said.
In her face?
Yeah. I mean, the look was just, it just kind of like, oh, like I lost this. I can't believe it. And she did say, we've spent all this time together. We've been doing this. Well, I thought we had a done deal as well, but this is not a price that I can move forward with.
Okay, now let's pause here, guys. Listen, this mystery man is a rookie, needs the money, and I'm assuming your motivation was to learn through this whole process because you could tell with my body language 2 weeks in the deal I gave up.
Right.
Because I gave up over at the $300 mark.
Correct.
Even when you got down to $275 mark and she rejected you on Monday, I even gave up even better. So remember, we got the $325 to $300, and then you even got a $275 slap in the face again in front of the night table. I was like, I already gave up.
Correct.
But listeners, check this out. He first time kind of a wholesale deal. Is this now? You get your first rental.
Correct.
You're super new at this whole thing. Super new at direct mailing. Super new at taking calls, and you're fighting through this whole battle. What sustained you? What kept you? I mean, I know I'm screaming at you. I mean, that's pretty simple. I mean, like, every time you came in here, I was like, go back out there. And I don't even know why I was saying that, because I gave up. So now this is AKA the takeaway close, walk away close. I also call this the push and pull method. No, and walk away. People get when you reject somebody, it changes the whole dynamic. It's like the air. It's like the giant elephant in the room. It just changes. So what happened from there?
So she asked, well, what could you pay?
That's my favorite. Amen. Whoever made those words, what could you pay?
I said, well, why don't you just think about it, because you were just upset. Let's just think about it over the weekend. And
who said that? You said that?
Reconvene on Monday.
All right, you're pretty smooth, mystery man.
And let's see if this is still something that you want to do on Monday. And see, if you call me back on Monday, then we will move forward if that's something that you want to do.
No, you didn't drop a number then, did you?
No, I didn't.
So, okay. Now, if I remember correctly, we're still, as of today, this airs on Friday, so that will be the 17th of November. We're still working this deal, and this has been going on for a month or so.
Right.
So at least a month of negotiations. Now we're wasting another week, and I remember the girl disappeared for about 10 days. Now remember, the table of the Knights, all the relatives, is because they were helping her move into an assisted living. So again, folks, try to imagine here that you got your whole family protecting this elderly lady from some younger guy trying to steal her home at $275. And we were. We were trying to steal that deal at $275. We thought we were going to, wholesale that bad boy for $300.
Yes.
I mean, that was we're going to make 25. We're going to make 25. So then what happened? So then about 10 days, it was like, I forgot about it. Like a week later, hey, Blank called me back. And I was like, who? You're like, that big house? Where? I'm like, what house? I remember, like, it took me about 3 minutes to figure out, because I moved on 10 houses later.
Yes.
Okay, so she finally calls back.
So she calls back.
She calls you. Remember, folks, the push and pull method. She called him. Remember, she called him.
So I roll on back up over there, and I come strolling in there.
And that's another point. Every time Mystery Man met her face to face, a lot of stuff was on the phone, because I coached him on the phone. I heard him on the phone. But a lot of your dealings were in person.
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah, majority of them.
Yeah,
almost all of
these price negotiations were
always in person. I learned that from Thomas Morgan. There you go, homie.
So I went back to the house and sat down at the table again. And we had a discussion, and I asked her if she still wanted to move forward with selling the house. And she said yes. And I said, well, so would I. And she asked, well, how much? I said, well, we've purchased a lot of property since the last time you and I last talked. And
that was your line?
Yeah.
Dude, I thought I just taught you that line like the other day. I must, I use that line a lot.
Yeah, because
it worked.
We'd purchased
a lot of property since then, and our cash reserves have kind of been buoyed a little bit, kind of lowered and up and down. So what'd you say then?
So I paused and kind of pondered, and
the look down close.
And well, I could probably pay $250.
Oh my gosh, I could just I can hear people passing gas like in their heart. You said $250 with a straight face?
I said $250 with a straight face. Dude,
you've got kahunas. I would say balls, but I know there's some ladies out there, so I did say balls. You got effing balls. I mean, seriously, when you told me this, what was her? This is an 80-year-old lady halfway in her house, moving into a retirement community. Her home is worth $385,000, and you said I can do $250,000. Never done wholesaling before. What did she say?
$25,000. We've purchased a lot of property, and I just don't have as much money as we did 2 weeks ago. Said I'd be happy to move forward with $250,000 to purchase your home. We can move forward quickly and make this happen forward so you can move on with your new life.
So you were always giving her. I love that you were always giving her the vision. And she's got 1 foot into the retirement community, 1 foot still with this house, and it's probably a giant headache. That was her. And you were the savior. You were taking care of things. You could help her. So how did you settle? What was the final price that you settled for?
So she said, I don't think I can do $250,000. I can't do that. I just can't do that. Could you do any better than $250,000?
Of course, I'm emotional. I'm a terrible. I would say, okay, $260,000, and you hit her with.
So I pondered and I thought, I scratched my head a little, and, acted like I was doing some calculations on my phone.
Oh, sweet. Love
and said, well, it looks like based on my calculations, I could do $255,000, but that's it. That's the best I could do. $255,000 it was.
And she said yes. And you got the girl to sign a contract.
Got her to sign the contract.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fabulous Friday, and we're going to kind of pause right there. All right, so we have been dealing with this deal. We have it under contract right now. We have pulled out all the stops and trying to sell this property, but we're going to do that in part 2. So I know this is like high drama. We hit the 21-minute mark, but we will fill you in all the details of what we assigned the contract for, what we priced it for, how do we try to sell it. It has not been easy. It has been murder. If it was easy, everyone would be real estate investor, wholesalers, blah, blah, blah. Any other comments? Because I'm going to end it right here.
Thanks for your help. Couldn't have done it without you.
All right, whatever you do, go buy assets, lock it up, a contract, even if you think you can't do it.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.